In a fandom that claims it's inclusive, we seem to have a lot of the same debates and struggles as to what we should allow in this fandom. A lot of people don't seem to learn and repeat the same mistakes that many have been attacked for, and unfortunately, we're going to continue to see this cycle, a swift cycle. Before I continue, let me just put a disclaimer. Please do not harass, dox, or threaten anyone mentioned in this video. This video is also 100% my opinion. I know at some point some people claim they were tricked and manipulated to create a video about this dude, but that's not the case here. This video is my own thoughts and actions, and I didn't reach out to this person when making this video. Actually, I've been debating whether to release this video or not. The main reason being I'm going to overlook a lot of things regarding this individual and talk about a trend I'm starting to see. It's very difficult to talk about this guy without talking about his past controversy, and I know some people will get upset if I don't speak about his actions, but truthfully, I'm not vexed on the Vexium lore. It's just too messy that I'd much rather have someone more qualified to cover that. I know there's also a Google Doc written by his editor floating around, but I can't seem to find it. It's a document with evidence gathered by his editor, so just keep that in mind. It has like a one-sided story that would favor Vexium with limited evidence, but I will say that it has really good points because when I read it, it was a sexy written document, alright, but I do have that tiny ounce of skepticism. Wolfgang, who unironically I respect a lot, is planning to make a video about Vex. By the time I release this video, it should be out, but with how Vexium is reacting to it, and how it's only Vexium that's been retweeting and interacting instead of the other side, I think it's once again more in his favor. And with how Wolfgang reacted previously with him, it's a switch up for sure. If Vexium really is innocent with the things I'm hearing, it makes sense to have these videos defending him because he's ultimately not guilty. But right now, I feel with the lack of pretty much everything, I would still be on the fence for this. Vexium has teased that he has this big folder with all this evidence. Hopefully that's talked about more in the video, because I would like to have that folder easily accessible to the public so that they can gather their own conclusion, because right now it just feels like a little bit of cherry picking, because I know they have hella evidence in the vault, and if it's making people convert to his side, the dark side, then I'm most likely wrong, and the evidence they have is goated. Anywho, Vexium Swift is a content creator with around 16,000 subscribers who are known for their videos on furry struggles and memes on YouTube. On Twitter, I suppose they're known for their rather down bad type of tweets, you know, the more horny on main if you catch my drift, along with beefing with a lot of people based on their rather suggestive posts. Now, there's nothing wrong with posting loot on the internet. I mean, there's dedicated platforms and the invention of AD accounts to do so. Twitch allows artistic nudity. Now they don't. Little quirky, but you know. But where Vexium kind of falls flat is references to porn and this whole debate of pushing porn to minors. It really did become his personality, I feel like. You could take a look at his profile, and it's mostly just him continuing to fan the flames in these areas. I would assume he's really tired of having the same conversations over and over. You keep telling people they've proven your point, but you know, how many times is the point going to be proven before you let it rest? But him talking about it is needed as well. Some people just throw the pedo accusations and label around that it's disgusting. If you're generally gonna gravitate with that claim and word and use it all loosey-goosey, you're rapidly making those serious claims lose meaning when you use it on the wrong people and start that echo chamber. And ultimately hurting actual victims when their abusers can dodge those labels because of how frequent it's being used. At the same time, certain responses he chooses can definitely feel like a narcissistic reply. Saying these things are what gets you clicks and demeaning a dude for a low follower count really irks me. I don't understand why continue to attack these people and feed into that negativity instead of just trying to block the haters and move on. I feel like the block button is everyone's greatest friend, but nowadays ultimately underused. Considering people use that as the I got you good, he can't refute my points. No, you're being annoying, bruh. when that point has already been proven and you already know what his reaction is going to be, why are you gonna do it? His content isn't much to gander at, I feel like. Kind of like taking tweets and memes and stitching them in a video while providing commentary. It's not bad content, it's just content that isn't for me. Some people may call it lazy, but I mean, XQC literally steals content, so anything other than him is okay in my books. Especially since most of his videos either have like thumbnails that are way too close for comfort or like references to porn games and stuff. Like, it's weird, but if it works, it works. I'm recording this while I'm sick. Hopefully you guys don't notice that. But where things get bad is when those lewd posts are posted with the rather large majority audience being under the age of 18. And this actually happens a lot within the fandom, like to the point where it's not even funny anymore. And with the case of Vexium, it's an open and shut case, and a term that I like to call the swift cycle. What is this swift cycle? Well, it's a pretty simple cycle I see within Vex. For example, he makes suggested posts, gets called out for having a minor audience, and they stated they were never minor friendly to begin with. Wait, that's strange. Okay, let's try it again. The content creator puts out a tweet. It gets a lot of backlash as they're accused of pushing porn onto their minor audience. They then change their account to 18+. They get dogpiled on for exactly what people asked for. I can see a pattern here. And not just a pattern of hypocrisy and repetition. It's no secret this drama and debate has been discussed multiple times over the course of this fandom. And within reason, all these creators potentially have minor audiences. All these creators have made a post that really threads on thin ice and rightfully criticized about, but one step at a time. For the recently new drama, it involves JT Wusky, another popular creator, and his tweet where he gets spanked with a paddle. I think this is really weird to post to an almost 80,000 follower account where I highly doubt they're all adults, and he got flamed for it. Rightfully so. Now, I'm a man that eats my words, and JT isn't really pushing porn with this tweet. Let's roll the clip.
Why do you want kids around people dressed up as squirrels getting spanked?
Well, this was touched upon once and wasn't brought up when he reintroduced the topic during the interview. So it's important to note that the convention itself didn't have such activities. Instead, it was a nearby restaurant close to the convention with its own unrelated tradition of spanking its customers. Though Vitaly tried explaining it, the interview glossed over that fact and Vitaly was unable to get his point across.
It's a tradition for Midwest Fur Fest, and with the restaurant closing down, the tradition must live on. I don't shame JT for keeping the tradition around, I just found it odd that, oh my gosh. I just found it odd that, it was front and centered on everyone's feed. Like, he has an AD account, just use it for the content that is considered pushing the boundaries. But that's more than I could say for his other weirder images that was on his account before making it an 18+ suggestive area. Like, if I have to even censor these images, it's probably something that shouldn't be posted for everyone to consume. Where Vex ties into this is he did the same thing. I didn't see this image from Vex, he spoiled it in the beginning, and then someone had the bright idea to post it without the spoil, and truly it was a beautiful dark twisted fantasy moment. A part of my soul died that day. But this isn't me saying it was a bad thing to post. He at least spoiled it. And by spoiling, I mean censored. And then he made a meme image and posted it without spoiling it. I understand. He finally stated he's an 18+ account on Twitter. I don't care, I'm not gonna be mad about that, especially with that meme being posted on a now 18+ account. But stand on business, dude. Like, if you're gonna spoil it before, just spoil it again to be safe. Because this also relates to JT. When you make your account 18+ in your bio, you still have minors who are potentially still following you, and you're gonna post more adult things. And then the funny part is when you're gonna shame minors for replying. Like, the switch up is sudden and personal. If you're gonna switch to an 18+ account and not take that time to monitor your account and who follows you, like it's Fort Knox, then why have content like that? I get the best argument they have, which is like, I said I was 18 in my bio, so I'm not responsible for minors looking at my profile. And I disagree with that if you didn't have it at the start. because now you actually have to monitor and filter those minors out by blocking or removing them as a follower. And I feel putting them on blast for account changes you did feels to me that you're pushing responsibility and blame to those minors. And I think JT with heckin' 80,000 followers can't possibly filter them out. And if he does, it's gonna take a long while, so logically, it would make sense to just clean up your act on your content creator accounts and just move it to your AD, then face the backlash when you start getting grilled for it. And it's not me like shaming people for posting what they want, it's just logically, it would make sense to do that long term. But I guess that leads into the question, what is suggestive? What should classify as suggestive content for minors to view? Should minors even view suggestive content? I mean, I think a good example of suggestive content that minors watch and are public about is Hell of a Boss. I mean, literal dicks on the wall in an episode, and some cartoons having adult jokes. So what separates these from Vex and JT? Well, firstly, for Hell of a Boss's case, it's meant for 18 plus since the get-go, and it's a fire show. For the cartoons, it's for the adults, you know? The jokes are meant for adults. It's like, if you know, you know. For Vex or JT, it's more so in an existing environment that didn't have any indication prior to what is expected with their post. Now, Vexium actually does bring up a good point. More than JT and Vex have been posting on the fence content and haven't been called out yet, or people don't seem to care. There is a big hypocrisy with that. But if I have to censor one more image for the sake of my argument, I'm actually gonna lose it. Some people have their personas' butts on the screen or doing a sexual pose, and minors interact with that content. There's also content from content creators that also references porn, and a lot of the time they're doing suggestive poses. Vexium has called this out, and rightfully so, but I think the fact that he's also getting flamed on causes those criticisms to go unnoticed. Like someone criticized Vexium for stealing their tweet, which honestly stealing tweets I kind of don't care about. But anyways, Vexium got criticized for stealing a tweet referencing porn, and that account criticized Vexium for pushing porn for minors interacting with him when that account also interacted with minors on multiple occasions, seemingly on both sides. But Vexium is also unaware too with interactions with minor.
Not true. I've said time and time again that I'm an open degenerate and that my demographic is simply not children, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with kids looking at my content, which is why I always try to push them away whenever I see them trying to interact with my stuff.
It's just too many gray areas that the more you try to fight for a side, the more it just falls apart. A thing I do want to mention though is minors do not interact, and then they interact with minors. It's happened to me on multiple occasions that it's scary. God forbid I interact with a minors do not interact account and they have the audacity to DM me and confront me about it when they interacted with me first. More recently though, I interacted with a person and they actually changed their bio to remove it and add sometimes suggestive. I found it funny, like, did you not learn from the last guy who said something suggestive in his bio? This isn't a jab or anything, it's just like, is no one learning? For me, it's just stand on business, like, you want minors to interact with you or not. It's a yes or no concept, especially in your community. Do you want minors in your Discord server? Do you want minors around you or not? Now, there are exceptions. Like, I'm a content creator, so sometimes people do have to interact with me, and I understand. But if you have minors do not interact and you have to make these exceptions, don't backpedal. Just be like, yeah, sometimes I interact with minors because of these special circumstances. I'm sure people would understand if you're honest, unless, you know, those special circumstances are pushing fetish content to them. Then that's a no-no. I think a good exception is like minors do not interact account interacts with the minor, but in a professional way. Like minors do not interact account or 18 plus account can follow creators who are under the age of 18. But if no lewd or no suggestive content or no suggestive reply is being pushed onto them, then it's fine. Question mark. Conclusionally, I don't fully think there's a who's right, who's wrong scenario. It's mostly just what makes sense. Because now I feel like people are getting called out for this type of content is only going to increase as people start to wake up. Call me a Puritan or something, it doesn't matter to me. Hounding someone for what they like on Twitter is justifiable sometimes. Like when a safe for work account likes not safe for work things and that puts that content into the algorithm for potential minors to view, at the end of the day, anything I said could be applied to me and everyone else. I know I like some weird stuff sometimes, don't check my Twitter likes, and I also say questionable things in videos. I'd be happy to debate my position with people, but right now I'm just trying to finish this video. I'm trying to enjoy my cup of tea to heal my sickness. If you guys do want to take away, I guess look at it as, what should we bear responsibility to? I already have a video on similar issues that I covered in the past, so feel free to check them out to gain a better understanding of my personal opinion on all of this. Also, there's a YouTuber by, sorry if I butchered this name, Purecore. We're gonna go with Core. There's Core, and he actually did make a video talking about like not safe for work stuff in cons and in conventions and stuff like that. I feel like that is a good generalization of like what I'm trying to say. Like when he talks about it, he kills it. So feel free to check out that video too. I'm gonna have it in this info card that popped up right now. I think Vexium generally is a scapegoat as we focus on him rather than the general people who do the same thing he does. And he does try to keep minors out of his now adult Discord server and ask for proof, which I really do respect. He's learning to filter minors out. It's a slow start, but it's definitely a good start. Anyways, keep life lovely. And this is Novely, logging off.